To really know China, you must first understand its history, its land, its people. It helps us make sense of what happened more than 9 decades ago and how it shaped the modern China of today. From the sirens and bombings of cities to the unprecedented westward evacuation.
Every river pointing westward was heavy laden, weighted down to the water's edge with the precious tools for new China.
The message was always clear: never give up. Always strive for something better.
And that's the goal, to produce sufficient, diversified, and safe food.
Those lessons became a driving force and shaped what China is today.
Hey, he's pretty quick. Oh my God.
I'm Mike Walter. In this episode, we journey from the ruins of war to the front lines of innovation, where China's vision meets a shared global mission in an effort to build a better world.
Nice to meet you. Can you shake my hand?
At the World War II Memorial in Washington, the silence is profound. It marks a war remembered for sacrifice and triumph, but also one experienced unevenly across the world. In the United States, the mainland was never bombed. No cities were occupied, no skies filled with enemy fire. For many Americans, war remained distant. A story of valor told from afar, not a trauma lived at home. This distance shaped not only memory, but the very way that war is understood.
Being here, you feel the enormity of a world war that literally touched everyone on the planet. War really isn't about trenches and tactics. The cost of war is felt in the hearts of cities and civilians. Its signature is etched on homes turned to rubble. While I wasn't alive to experience World War II, like most visitors here, you feel something, a connection, a quiet grief that doesn't need translation.
Growing up in the U.S., I learned about the London Blitz in textbooks. We all did. Blitz is an abbreviation for Blitzkrieg, the German word for lightning war. And that's what it was. Thousands of Nazi bombs raining down on London, shattering everything from structures to psyches. A chapter in history, we heard about it in school. It was an iconic moment in the story of World War II. The Blitz wasn't just about military targets, it was about terror. Bombs hurling down from the sky, hitting civilians, factories, and homes. The Luftwaffe was attempting to pierce the very heart of London. In just a few months, the city became a war zone. The goal was clear: to destroy Britain's spirit. Cities were left in ruins, and the immediate toll was staggering. Yet the cost wasn't just in lost buildings. It was in the resources, the workers, the lives, the key elements needed to fuel the fight against Nazi Germany. Over 40,000 civilians died, and much of the city lay in ruins. These images, these stories are a part of history we can never forget. War, destruction, resilience. And in this room, surrounded by these echoes from the past, I don't just see the past, I feel it. And yet there's a part of me that still feels removed, struggling to truly feel the weight of what they lived through.
That the tragedy of the Second World War is a global tragedy in which, in fact, many areas experienced similar trauma. And I think the difference here is between countries that were occupied, such as my home country, the Netherlands, or France, or Belgium, but also China. It's very different from the experience or the perspective of countries that were not occupied, like the United Kingdom or the United States.
At pretty much the same time, on the other side of the world, another city stood under an even greater threat. It may not look like the future you imagine, but step into China's Chongqing and you'll feel it. A city alive with heat, noise, and its constant motion. Chongqing never rests. Not because of its lights or towers, but because of a spirit that refuses to be dimmed. Its drive runs much deeper. In World War II, the same city stood in ruins. It began with a distant hum in the sky, a warning siren. Then the whine of engines. Then fire. From 1938 to 1944, Chongqing was bombed over 200 times by the Japanese military. More than 11,500 bombs fell on this mountain city, making it one of the longest and most sustained aerial bombardments in modern warfare. Entire neighborhoods were flattened. Hospitals, schools, factories turned to ash. An estimated 32,000 were killed or injured, and over 17,000 buildings were destroyed. But the city didn't fall. Through 6 years of relentless assault, Chongqing's people endured, living, working, and resisting, all beneath the cascading and relentless bombs. More than a besieged wartime capital, Chongqing was the industrial heart of China's resistance, and the city where the will to fight never flickered. Amid overwhelming devastation, the British response became a symbol: keep calm and carry on. In Chongqing, however, the people grew stronger with each blast, encouraging one another in the face of adversity. A simple message, a call to action, a reminder that even in the darkest times, life must go on. As bombs rained from above, another threat surged from below. Japanese troops were closing in on the ground, advancing up the Yangtze, aiming to seize land and the country's industrial capabilities to enhance its own military power. China stood at a crossroads. Would its industry be crushed on the battlefield or carried to safety before it was too late? China embarked on a monumental westward retreat, relocating its industrial heart from the vulnerable eastern coast to the safety of the interior. Over 3 years, 448 factories were moved, each a vital treasure preserved, later fueling China's fierce resistance against the invading forces.
Every river pointing westward was heavy laden. Every sampan, every barge was pressed into service, weighted down to the water's edge with the precious tools for new China.
Many patriotic entrepreneurs devoted themselves into this epic effort. Lu Zhoufu, founder of Minsheng Shipping Company, played a vital role. Through his fleet of Minsheng Company, Lu led what history would call China's Dunkirk, the daring Yichang evacuation. A bold act of resilience amid the shadows of war. In just 40 grueling days, 30,000 people and more than 100,000 tons of vital machinery were dismantled by hand, packed, and moved upriver through the narrow, dangerous gorges from Yichang to Chongqing. This massive operation faced constant Japanese air raids. Over 80 ships were bombed, resulting in the sinking of some of the vessels on this treacherous route.
中国呢，经济不发达，它是一个农业国家，仅有的这些民族工业都是非常有限的，这都是我们的火种。它能把这些火种能够带到呢这个大后方，带到大西南，这个对于这个积贫积弱的中国，这个意义是非常深远的。就和当年的这个英国这33万部队一样，把他们带回英国，它起到作用同样是巨大的。
The Yichang evacuation transformed a desperate retreat into a vital strategy. It did not just save China's remaining machines and factories, but it also boosted confidence in China's long-term war of resistance, safeguarding its industry, its scientists, and its hope for the future. Today, the very same river carries a different cargo. Electric vehicles instead of generators under threat, but the journey endures.
降我939，降我939。哎，我民生号稍微站高点哈，我在你位置来站。哇，3个9，你还有速度噻，你还准备站高点噻？渝公里502，民生号哈，民生号跟你过红灯哈，过红灯。我叫谢丹，我现在任职于民生号，职务是船长。 最后一趟了，最后一趟车，你倒是注意到看下水池左右歪不歪好。两门窗现在是计划装，第一场主甲板应该是差不多了。
Captain Xie Dan is a part of a new supply chain along the Yangtze River, a green corridor linking inland China to global markets.
我的价值就是通过我们的发航到上海，中国海船转运，把商品汽车运向全世界。 觉得还是中国的车出口，我自己贡献了一部分。
To Xie, this isn't just a job.
帮忙看下那个灯儿那些哈，检查传明了，好。
It's a relay.
民生号，民生号，在水泥厂民生基地准备游南向北。
A modern chapter in a much older story of industry, survival, and the belief that when the world shifts, you either lead the change or you're left behind. Development, For the past century, it's become more than a word in China. It's a type of poetry if you look closely. Not just in what's built, it's drawn over and over again, line by line, in steel, circuits, and lights. Each generation carried more than memory. They carried the understanding that to fall behind is to create vulnerability, and that peace does not grow on hope alone. It is built through development. From sewing machines to robotic arms. From those blackout nights to the glowing skylines. From footpaths to high-speed rail. What rose in those decades was more than a country. It was an intention to never be left behind again. And yet today, the world map is still uneven. Access to development is unequal. The tools of the future remain out of reach for many. Walls are rising in places where bridges should be built. China suffered through the pains of underdevelopment and is now determined to make a change, but not just for itself. This is no ordinary gathering. It's a celebration of the developers who are driving the AI revolution. A community armed with the most powerful tools of our time. January 2025, DeepSeek shook the world with its R1 open source AI model. For most Chinese, it was the first time to learn the word open source and its strength of opening and cooperation. Based on the ideal of tech equity, it showcases a future where China and many other countries can grasp the chances that come with the coming AI era. Open source is like an open invitation, an offer to share tools, models, and breakthroughs with the world. At the heart of this movement is ModelScope, a cloud-based platform, an open source community where innovation flows freely, where innovation isn't a privilege, it's a practice of participation.
Inside the doors here, it's home to a fast-growing open source platform, sparking a global conversation about sharing models, sharing code, and perhaps sharing the future.
Today, the heart of the Mind Factory, I'm meeting Shu Hongzhu, managing director behind this community.
So great to meet you. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to visit with us. Talk to us about open source. How would you describe that for our viewers? What would you see as its unique value?
开源就是通过代码开放、文档开放，让每一个普通人或者开发者都能够无差别的去享受前人的这种研究成果。后人站在前人的肩膀上，不断的去探索、创新和进步，就仿佛是每一个人都拿到了一把钥匙，他可以打开研究的大门，去进行自由的探索和发挥。
Now, half of the global AI developers are in China. They have no boundaries on using, modifying, or sharing models, algorithms, and applications through open source platforms. Each developer's distinct contribution to the AI ecosystem can inspire a greater collective wisdom.
So what motivated the creation of ModelScope?
开发者去使用模型的门槛非常高，所以当时其实我们是从模型的应用性的这个角度上来说，怎么能够使得模型能够被更多的人用起来，然后能够促进这个应用的发展，我觉得是我们社区提出来的一个初心吧。
我今天其实特别感慨，因为有很多开发者跟我说，这是我真正的离这种一线的作者特别近的。
For many developers, the barrier isn't curiosity, it's access. This open source AI community began with a simple question. How do we take models off the shelf and place them into the real world?
开源 论社区里头的开发者他自己有不同的研究背景，或者是说他面临的不同的应用场景，他最核心的就是这些模型怎么用起来。
And that's the point. It's not a race to the most complex models. Instead, it's an effort to make sure everyone, everywhere, has a place in building what's coming next.
也希望能够有更多的搭子推动我们下一波 AI 技术的一个发展。
我觉得最新、最快、最强的技术，的确就是这个技术发展的一个牵引力。但是呢，这个技术的普惠，这个技术从点变成一个面上的，能够造福更多的这些。因为我觉得大家就从社区的开发者的层次，他自己的 background 也是不一样的。这个技术怎么能够普惠到更多的人？我觉得这个是更重要的。对。
魔力全开。
More than 80 years ago, Liu Zhoufu gathered his fleet to preserve China's future. Today, a different generation picks up the mission, not to protect knowledge by hiding it, but by setting it free.
我们希望每年开发者都有这样的机会，然后大家聚集在一起，然后去交流。
Open source AI wasn't built to stay in the lab, it was built to move, to adapt, to be used. And now that shared code is powering something real, practical, wearable, and it's made for everyday life.
So we head this way, and it's telling us that at some point we're going to turn right. If you're on a bike or something like this, I can see how this is really beneficial. No, this is amazing. It's incredible. There's not a delay.
Yeah, no delay.
Yeah.
My colleagues they sometimes use it to real navigate to their homes, and this device will support to navigate in cars in the very soon.
Wow, it's definitely keeping us on track.
Just take a look at Rokid's latest glasses, powered by open source AI and designed to provide me with two things that I desperately need when I'm in China: navigation and translation.
Okay, try something on me.
你最喜欢的食物是什么？你来这儿有没有尝试一些杭州比较好吃的东西？
Oh my God, what is your favorite food? Oh my God. So
Yeah.
everything comes up, even when I say, oh
Yeah.
my gosh. I'll try something else. This is amazing.
But this isn't just tech for tech's sake. It's making it possible to understand anyone and any language, anywhere. Smart glasses were once seen as science fiction or status symbols. Now they're becoming something more grounded. Tools designed for daily use with much lower prices. Now it's time to meet the person who made it all possible. Unlike many in tech, Rokid's founder, Misa Zhu, is not just after what's new, he's after what matters.
那个非常酷，这个是我们的一个非常贴心的设计。所以大家知道 Rokid 做产品有多用心啊，去解决你们的问题。
The most fun thing in this job is not about create a new stuff. That's true, I enjoy that people products on and they really like it and they're shocked, by the new technology and the wonderful experience.
非常好。
怎么样？你们可以感受一下重点。哇，太离谱了。
This wasn't built for the few who already have everything. It's built for people trying to keep up, trying to connect, trying to belong.
Open source AI, talk to me about why that's important and a feature of what you're doing.
Why Rokid Glass is so popular this year? Because of AI. The open source is not just about technology. Of course, it makes more and more people involved in this industry. The price the end users got to pay is pretty low.
Open source didn't just lower the cost, it opened the door for tinkerers, for startups, for Misa, and for the millions he hopes to reach.
Because the slogan of Rokid is leave nobody behind. Actually, most of the people, they are a little bit afraid of new technology, not just AI. That's why we need wonderful products. It's helping people connect and so make people more and more relaxed and confident to use new technology like AI.
And then 5 years from now, when people are wearing your glasses, what do you want them to say about your company?
Well, you know, let me tell you a story. Like a couple of months ago, I was in a train and from Hangzhou to Beijing. And suddenly I look out the window and I see a wonderful and beautiful landscape. So I just realized, wow, how many beautiful stuff I missed when I stare in the tiny screen. So that's why I suddenly understand, well, what we're working on. This is our vision. This is our mission. That bring people, you know, out of the digital cage and to help them back to the real world, enjoy the real world.
From factories of code to fields of machines, today's innovators move fast, building a future unbound by borders. But this future is shaped by a past that still echoes. The painful memories of war are a constant driver for the Chinese people to keep striving forward. In those worst memories, one perhaps was the most devastating: famine. In the Soviet Union, Greece, France, and Poland, famine swept across Europe during wartime. But none of them could compare with what happened in China. As Japan ravaged the country for 14 years, the cost was famine that stole literally tens of millions of Chinese lives. At the time, close to 90% of the population in China were farmers. Let's face it, they've always been the backbone of this country. They suffered the most, sacrificed the most, and they contributed the most. Even under these dire circumstances, Chinese farmers fed the troops who defended the country.
When I was a child and my mother would give me food, if I would not completely eat everything on the plate, she would get so mad, so angry, because she had suffered real famine in the 44-45 hunger winter when 20,000 Dutch people died. Even that experience of scarcity and how that shapes our common, I think any great disaster like the Second World War, it will take 3 generations at least. Maybe 4. It takes 3 generations for human beings to digest this.
For China, the memory of starvation always lingers. From history's scars, China has adopted a truth that endures. Our food supply must be our own. Agriculture is the root from which China stands. The country has been striving to prevent starvation. Now a revolution is taking place in China's farmlands that might reshape global farming. This Super X farm in Guangzhou may look like any other, but here the future of farming is being tested. The goal? Make cutting-edge tools that farmers of any age or background can use.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Welcome to our Super X farm.
I'm here visiting Justin Gong, the visionary behind this farm. Justin might not fit your definition of a typical tech bro. After years of studying and living in the West, he stayed deeply connected to his roots in the fields.
I think a lot of farming methods can be reinnovated or reinvented again and again.
And again.
Yeah, because there's huge potential. I think farming is the oldest industry because our civilization was shaped by farming.
And again, it's not like the toggle switches, it's much easier these days.
No, the farmers don't want to use the joystick to control, and they want sitting in the car with aircon on and drinking Coca-Cola maybe, and to seeing the drone fly in the farm.
And it doesn't take them long, like an hour for them to get the hang of things?
In fact, I can teach you to fly it in 5 minutes.
Okay.
This drone takes care of watering, fertilizing, and spraying pesticides. On a traditional farm, spraying a 5-acre field might take days of hard labor.
Wow.
Here, the same work can be done in minutes. But this isn't about replacing people. It's about giving them safer, smarter ways to work.
Because this drone flies at a speed of 50 kilometers per hour.
Wow.
So In 1 second, it can cover 138 square meters.
What?
We receive a lot of feedback from the farmers, especially from the older farmers. Some of them saying thank you to us because now they can easily manage their farmland. But most of them are saying because of this tool, they see more and more young people back to the farmland, back to the village. And they are seeing people doing, live broadcasting in the farmland, selling their produce, and setting up companies or cafe or hotels in their hometown.
Wang Fan's day begins early, overseeing the farm with technology that saves her time and labor. As a modern-day farmer, she operates the drone that makes today's agriculture faster and more efficient. 5 years ago, she left the fast pace of Shenzhen to return to the fields.
我觉得像现在机械化比较厉害了，年轻人进入农业也是一个很好的前景。
Here she found a new career as a professional drone operator, blending her skills with new opportunities to earn and help her family.
最低要我养的大，最要远当一局装2桶脚的店，大养的更当一局装3桶脚。 就是打这一片跟那边那一片嘛。
1亩地20斤，1亩地。
By offering her drone services, she earns a living while helping village elders manage their farmland with precision.
大路那边插到过的全部是我的。
等到飞机来的时候去看一下，去下的时候再去看一下就好。好。哦。不用人工下地。 相对于现在来说，就是干苦力的那一批都年纪大了，你现在干苦力的也比较少。
今天天气比往年天气相差一样。
哎呦，好像点不死个样，听到别人讲日点我也没点死。
你未来5年的感觉在我心边好不好？
我觉得蛮好啊。就是觉得未来整年，等天一动吧。
那没有。
我当初选择转型的话，还是因为可以一边照顾小孩，然后父亲总是希望儿女能够在身边干共同的事情。从我记事起，父母就有干农业这个。 小的时候有在稻田里面抓螃蟹、青蛙都有，感觉还是挺好的，好像有在父亲身边，就好像还没有嫁人那种感觉，就好像已经回到小的时候那种很美好的感觉。
我没有，我哪家？我没有买，没有。
The haunting memories of famine, that fear of hunger. It's not something on the surface. It is a deep memory from the past, passed down through generations. Now, Justin and many other Chinese are working to build a hunger-free world.
And you say that we're actually exiting the agriculture to post-agricultural world. Explain that.
That's only my kind of view. In the next decade or 2 decades, we human beings don't need to worry about food production anymore, because with the power of robotics and AI, most of the farmers should be able to utilize and be empowered by the technology to produce food for our future.
And there'll be enough food for all of us?
Yeah, and that's the goal, to produce sufficient, diversified, and safe food.
Justin believes agriculture is timeless, the root of human existence. Now, across the world, Chinese technologies are empowering farmers to achieve better and more bountiful harvests. More than 90 years ago, the Chinese could scarcely imagine the nation we see today. The scars of war fueled the drive to move forward. From agriculture to industry, generations sought to catch up with the world. Now, as the world's second largest economy, a new generation looks beyond borders, driven by a vision to propel humanity's progress. Before dawn, the plateau awakens in silence. Among white dishes, a lone figure listens to the sun. This is a place where ancient mountains meet cutting-edge science. And this is Yichang Retreat's world. Born in the nearby village, he, like many locals, made a living from the land, gathering what the mountains gave. Today, he's part of a team guarding one of the world's most advanced solar observatories.
Here on the edge of this plateau, the sky feels closer, vast, silent, alive. In this extreme landscape, China's Meridian project rises quietly, scanning the sun, watching for space storms that touch our lives in ways we barely see. From Earth to orbit, science here isn't distant.
This is no ordinary telescope. The Daochong Solar Radio Telescope is part of something far larger. A network that watches space across latitudes, longitudes, and layers of the atmosphere. Today, I'm joining Dr. Wang Qi, Chief Commander of the Chinese Meridian Project Phase 2, for a tour through one of the most ambitious space weather observatories on Earth.
I can't help but look at this with a sense of wonder and awe. Can you explain it?
这是我们植物工程的一个观测的台站。我们造成太阳射电的圆环阵，就是为了监测太阳活动的。这也是我们整个的植物工程的一个龙头的设备。
313 dishes synchronized as one, a giant eye that sees solar storms before they strike. When humanity is advancing into the universe, magnetic or solar storms are the invisible threats endangering our launches, the satellites and space stations. The Meridian Project is an indispensable tool needed to predict space disasters before they happen.
我们下一步就是想推动一个国际植物圈大科学计划。我们现在对于空间环境的监测都是局限在我们中国的领土。但是我们可以把国际上的空间环境的监测组成一个全球的监测网络。
The International Meridian Circle program, in partnership with 36 global science organizations and research institutions, is set to expand over the next 11 years to track and predict global space weather events.
空间是没有国界的，在空间所有的挑战都是全人类共同的挑战。所以，国际合作就是在我们空间科学、空间探索中的一个基因。
But not everyone in this story is a scientist, and not every discovery begins in a lab. Sometimes it begins with a child's dream, like the one Yichang Retreat's daughter carries in her heart.
시기아래 문제니 그 샤보진데니 월루크로 아디 루키로 아디데 라데르도 되겠습니다.
You see, curiosity doesn't just begin in textbooks. It begins in a glance upward, a question, a quiet sense that there's more to know.
为实现这个目标，其实中间的道路非常的这个漫长。培养我的学校也不仅仅是在中国，我也是在美国受到了我的研究生的这个教育，所以我想这也是体现我们全人类是一个共同的家庭。无论在哪，我受的教育，我都是为我自己的梦想，为了实现我们人类共同的一个梦想，在不断的努力，在不断的奋斗。
As Jamyang rides home, his voice rises with the wind, a song to the sacred mountains that raised him. Echoing beneath the sky, he now helps watch. The Meridian Project reaches into space, but it is rooted in people. Those who wonder, those who strive, and those who care to keep hope alive.
Today, as we face new challenges from climate change to space risks, we're reminded of that shared dream. In space, there are no borders, and perhaps in the boundless sky, we are rediscovering what it means to have a shared future together.
True development is not defined by what we build, but by who we invite to the table. From struggle, a new vision rises, woven with history, yet open to tomorrow. A future shaped by many hands, where growth is a promise, not a possession. Stretching beyond borders and spanning time. This is the path China walks today. A foundation forged in resilience, with a vision of openness. A world where peace, civilization, and development are for all. United in progress, where security, growth, and well-being move forward together toward the building of a community with a shared future for humanity.
今天，人类又面临和平还是战争，对话还是对抗，共赢还是零和的抉择。中国人民坚定站在历史正确一边，站在人类文明进步一边，坚持走和平发展道路，与各国人民携手构建人类命运共同体。